and welcome. And today you are for a big treat with Leyolah Antara. She is a long-term teacher of sacred sexuality and ecstatic embodiment, an author, creator of Kundalini Dance practice, and high priestess of the Isis Magdalene lineage. She is working with healing sexual wounds, clearing the womb of past trauma, and opening to ecstatic sexual energy as a creative and transformational force. The link between sexuality and creative expression. She is also have an online school called the Tantric Rose Mystery School, which she dedicates to the empowerment of the sacred feminine. And I have done 9 months priestess training with Leyolah, which was beyond the physical realm. It was taking me to my power, to access every cell of my body for my purpose, for my creativity, and connecting me to the higher realms. So I'm so honored and happy to have Leyolah with us today. Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me. And it's been really awesome to watch you rising and creating since that 9-month journey, and that time you took that time to write your book, and you've just been shining these last years. So great to see. Thank you for providing this great space here for this very important topic. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Leyolah. I'm so happy that you are here to share your magic, because you really embody that divine, sacred feminine balanced with the sacred masculine. And I follow your work for years, and you're doing so much healing and spreading so much goodness in the world. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a joy.
And I know that you are very passionate about the work with the sacred womb. Would you like to start right there?
Yeah, definitely. It feels like it's such a key re-centering for a woman to come down from the consciousness of her mind and to re-access the womb. I know for me, for over 30 years I've been, bringing women and men into connection to Shakti, Kundalini energy, very impassionately about bringing people into accessing sexual energy as a transformational, ecstatic river of love that is such a healing current in the body. And it felt like the progression of those years, things deepened and deepened, I suppose, for me about 7 years ago when I had my first ecstatic womb activation. And a big part of the work for me is connecting people into connection with the womb of Gaia, with the womb of the earth. And that was part of sort of my first, torch or mission that I got from the Great Mother, from Great Spirit, was to bring people back home into connection with Mother Gaia Sophia. And through that connection, connecting our womb to her womb was a huge part of that. I was shown many years ago. I was in the central western desert of Australia, and I'm currently here in New Zealand, actually, so I'm transmitting the energy from this incredibly beautiful and sacred land. But then many years ago I was in the central western desert in Australia, and I was shown that the the earth was also going through a transformation, and that the earth's Kundalini was also rising, and that a big part of what I was there to do, my initial mission was, I was told, to connect people to this central core of the earth. And I saw it like a rainbow serpent that was rising, and that would, then of course activate all the energy centers and the higher potential of the divine human. But as the years went on, what I came to see was that I was having to take people through a lot of healing to repair that deep gate, that core. It's like an etheric connection that's been severed, and it's been it's our basic fundamental connection to the Divine Mother, to Gaia Sophia, to the Divine Mother consciousness. That is, I feel, a big part of the journey of activating the womb, is a recognition that we as women have this sacred birthing portal inside our bodies, and we as women have access to embodying the creative principle of life. And when our womb is healthy and clear and whole, we're able to birth, our creative gifts, our sacred purpose in the world. And this is a big part of the sacred inner union practices that I teach, is this activation of the divine feminine energy and the divine masculine energy into the womb. It's like the divine current of, it's like when we're making love, the divine masculine actually penetrates and fertilizes the seed in a woman's womb. Well, it's the same energetically for a woman in a woman's body. It's like we have all these seeds in our wombs, not only in our ovaries to make babies, but we have these creative seeds, or these seeds of our creative purpose, that also rest there in that place. And that may seem kind of esoteric and a bit out there, but in my experience, it's that, that seeding, when we can come into this spiritual practice of sacred inner union and basically start to ecstatically starburst these seeds of our divine potential. And this is what gets our juju flowing. This is what gets our passion and our creative energy and our enthusiasm and our vitality for life stirring and activated. And, but the thing is, when our wombs are still full of, our wombs are like a sponge. They absorb so much. They absorb so, much of other people's energies and all of our previous sexual experiences, our past partners. The thing is, a lot of men don't, where we're at inside of where we've been, inside of our sort of social dynamics and culture, is that we've all lost connection to this powerful energy source, which is the Divine Mother Gaia Sophia. We've lost connection to, the earth. And in this time of now, we are returning to her. A lot of particularly men were looking to have that connection through a woman's womb, and they would want that access to the goddess, or that access to Shakti, through a woman's womb. And so our wombs get very full of our past partners or our present partners, and they get kind of muddy. They're also a very psychic sponge, so they get very, they get muddy, and they get They get full of other people's energies. And so this is why it's really important to do regular womb cleansing. And for some women who are still bleeding, that's part of the monthly menstruation, is, you know, this bleeding out what has been unfertilized and creating space for the new seeds to be fertilized again. And it's the same etherically and energetically. We need to cleanse, to breathe out, to shake out, to offer out back to the mother again, all those things that are not, you know, fertile anymore, those things that have gone stagnant, those energies that are stagnant inside of us, so that we can come to this very clear and ecstatic energy that can be sourced when we have a clear womb space. So yeah, it's really a deep key, and it's the same for men too. They have this access to the pelvic bowl and this holy space where we have so much life force and so much potential for connection to the life force. You know, we as women are so blessed to be part of, you know, to have access to this holy grail, you could say, this holy chalice, this crucible for the goddess inside of our own bodies. And part of that reconciling is to release the past imprints, past energetic imprints. And so this is what I do, a lot of shamanic healing and teaching of different practices and offering lots of different courses. Got a sexual healing course, which I think is a very important foundation for a woman before she moves into a more ecstatic tantric activation of her sexuality. So we have a journey through of a clearing of all the different sexual organs, all the imprints, so then that we can really cultivate the Shakti and start to, you know, let it move through our creative center, through our throat centers, activate the higher brain centers. But there is always this, you know, fundamental work that we need to do to clear past trauma, past experiences. And I know that this is a lot of what you've been discussing here on the summit.
Yes, I feel that this is fundamental before we can rise to our full potential and explore all that multi-orgasmic, ecstatic energy. There is some muck that needs to come out, and it sits in the womb, literally in the energy of the womb and the rest of the body. And it needs to be cleared, and there is ways to clear it. And I certainly have done a lot of work with you on that. And you really, your work is very much embodying that energy and moving it and feeling it in the body. And that is the way. I know it for myself. And many experts were talking about exactly that. Healing cannot happen from talking or through the mind. Yes, it might be a very important step forward, because by talking, there is vulnerability and sharing, but healing doesn't happen there. And you really developed some practices that move the energy and unlock it and shift it. So do you want to maybe talk a little bit about your practices?
Yeah, we could talk about it. We could do a little practice and go into more of a practical kind of embodied way of sharing, if you like.
Let's do it. Yes, let's do it.
Yeah. I feel that we kind of, you know, I was getting to this a little bit in the beginning. It's like we have this. I love my crystal ball. Let me share this. This is a beautiful example of our womb space. You know, it's like this is in between all the bone structure of your pelvis. You have an etheric, beautiful bowl. And this, as we said, this is the crucible. This is the place in your body that you can cultivate, you know, a lot of this Shakti, life force energy. This is a place that houses and embodies your sacred soul fire. It's a place that houses and embodies your creative life force. And it is the place, the crucible in your body in which you can ultimately cultivate the different qualities of the goddess, of the divine feminine, as a life force, as a quality of Shakti, but also as different qualities of consciousness. We have fiery Shakti that we can cultivate for transformation. We can also cleanse and clear and clarify with the energy of water, which is a big part of the purification process, is getting the womb sort of crystalline and clear and watery. And I'm really feeling that right now, potentially for this group here that you've gathered and people that are listening right here, right now. I'm really feeling that there's some work to do with clearing the element of water here together. So we can go into that now. But one of the things I wanted to share is, so this has this net, yeah? And this is very important. This is your cervix, or your cervical gateway. And your cervical gateway is a part of the womb. And often a woman who's had trauma has obviously got emotional scarring in the cervix. So healing and accessing this, you know, having capacity to really receive and draw in the energy from the goddess and the energy from God, this divine masculine, divine feminine energy, and bring that into the body for healing, embodiment, and spiritual activation. The cervix is a really, really, really key point of healing. And I know for me, just, you know, prior to really activating my womb as an ecstatic portal for Shakti to house herself inside of, I felt a lot of core rage towards the masculine, at crossing my boundaries in the past. A lot of rage at myself for, you know, not having a solid and empowered no. So clearing and healing the cervix of all the old threads that cause us to feel, you know, the old threads. There's deeper wounds there in the cervix. Deeper wounds of feeling suppressed. Deeper wounds of feeling. The list of what is potentially held there is quite large. When we go into the meditation now, I'm going to kind of invite some of that clearing. And then you have, you know, obviously from the cervix, you have the yoni gateway. And the yoni, which is rather large, this yoni. Birthing a baby. Yeah, we can see that as just as an etheric or energetic vortex that's like a cylinder, like a funnel, that then goes down and sends these roots really deep, deep, deep down. So the cervical gateway and the cervix and the yoni gate then goes into the etheric root chakra gate, and that etheric root chakra gate is like a cylinder. And that cylinder that connects us to the womb core of Gaia, because this is the important part of the healing, is that gate is healed and made strong again. And part of what I love to strengthen is the, just looking for, I work with the symbol of the flower of life. The flower of life is the matrix of creation. I'm not sure if everybody knows it, but it's the spheres within spheres within spheres. And I've just got one here over here on my rattle. But yeah, it's said to be the 6 days of creation of Genesis that you can see here. There's a seed of life. I don't know if you can see very well.
I can see, yes.
Yeah. That's one of the symbols, is spheres within spheres within spheres. And you can see here on my drum as well, the goddess Hathor, she has them on her hands here. You can't probably see that well. But just for those who don't know this, and it's quite a common sacred geometrical symbol. It's, where the one circle overlaps the other circle and becomes a Vesica Pisces, and it becomes another circle, becomes another circle. And this is how our Divine Mother Gaia Sophia can work energetically to repair this etheric root gate. And for most of us, this gate, as I said earlier, has like energetic tears and leaks in it. So we can't fully access the vital healing energy that is there for us, that the Mother is offering us. And so part of the meditation that I feel would be really useful for everybody is to heal and repair that gate. I was recently on a sacred pilgrimage in France, in the south of France. And part of that journey was a journey to Saint Maximin, Saint Baume, which is a incredible mountain that has a huge old cave. It's a sacred mountain. It was sacred to the Druids, and the Druids took Mary Magdalene there when she had to go into hiding. And when the Romans they were hunting her down, they killed her brother, and then the Druids came and took her, and she was living up in this area. There's many Druid stone circles there. It's one of the most incredible mountains. And part of my journey there was accessing these meditations for kind of healing the divine human template for the divine human cervix and the divine human yoni gate. This is something that I'm offering in my sexual healing and my Tantric Rose Mystery School, sort of sexual healing and tantric embodiment training. This is really part of the healing. And these so we can do that now. I've also noticed that I've got the peonies here, which is also a beautiful symbol for refemming your flower. And we can do a little bit of that too. Let's go into practice, because I love talking and sharing, and I like to teach while you're actually doing it. So let's do a little practice here. What I offer is always inside of a temple, because the work we do is, I'm a mystic, so I'm a priestess of Isis, so I work with the guides, Isis, Hathor, Sekhmet, Horus, Anubis. I work with this pantheon of beings, Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, Jesus, Christ Light. Work with these sacred archetypal divine love guides to hold a high and sacred space. And that way I can also support people who are tuning in etherically to do some energy clearing. One of my innate gifts, as I'm a global priestess. I've been involved in global activations. We used to run a dance party all over the world called Birth Dance. And that sort of put me then into doing my work as a priestess, traveling all over the world. So I work with people a lot in Europe and America and Canada and Australia and New Zealand and Bali. So I have a very vast global network. I'm quite attuned to, let's say, the global, the feminine grid. And I'm always getting put in situations where I'm working with different people, different nations, and it's very universal what we're all going through in this rising of the feminine at this time. It's very key that we reclaim, you know, our sexual sovereign womb space as a creative portal, as a creative current of life, because it's a huge part of what will support us to rise and awaken our soul gifts, to rise and awaken the codes of our soul, that unless our sexuality has been reclaimed back from the lust grid, from the porn grid, from being trapped in trauma, from misuse, we don't have the full spectrum of access to this current of energy as an evolutionary power, as a transformational power. And so part of our work of healing this gateway is also then the beginnings of calling back your sexual energy and sealing it within. I know a lot of women, and myself included, I recently came out of 2.5 years of celibacy, and about 4 months ago, and that process. Did I say 2.5 months? I meant 2.5 years, and that process was, a very powerful process of taking a pause around journeying sexually with the masculine or even with woman, to really recalibrate a very new and exquisite vibration of sexuality, and that I call refemming, my sexuality, bringing it back into its rightful expression as an evolutionary current of marriage between the god and goddess. And this is where my Tantric Rose teachings have really birthed from. And this is, why I love to work with the rose, peony, and take these energetic imprints to reframe those gates of, the yoni and the clitoris, bringing the symbol of the rose carries a code in it that when you visualize it, and I'm going to get you to visualize it in the meditation, it will actually, it brings in a certain universal pattern and imprint that will, shift you and reconnect you to the divine blueprint of your erotic innocence.
I so resonate with what you're saying, and that's why I chose the rose as a very potent symbol in the I Rise Summit. And for me, rise and rose is the same verb, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right. I hadn't thought of that. It's like past tense rose.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. All right, I'm going to just I'm going to take myself off the microphone because I'm playing crystal ball, and let's begin a practice. So I just invite you now to come into your sacred space.
And to bring yourself to sitting. And start to take some really long, deep, slow breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose and out through your mouth. Try to close down your eyes and relax your jaw. And feel that connection between your yoni, your hips and your pelvis and your jaw. Allow your tongue to lay flaccid and relaxed. Allowing your spine to curl and your tailbone to tuck under. Relaxing your yoni. Relaxing the muscles inside your yoni. Relaxing your womb space, your belly. And begin to bring your attention to the bones of your pelvis. Your right pelvic crest, your right hip bone. Just visualizing it or touching it. Bring your attention to your pubic bone. Bring your attention to your left hip bone. Bring your attention to your sacrum. And start to bring your breath into the temple of your pelvis, pelvic bowl. This is your holy crucible where the beautiful black light of the Great Mother, void consciousness, resides. This is your place for ultimate creation, ecstatic celebration, a potential place where you come to rebirth your consciousness, a potential place where you come to dissolve, to rest, and to renew. Amma, Gaia, Sophia, Great Mother. Help me to connect my womb to your golden womb core. Help me to light my flame, my Shakti flame. I invite you now to visualize a cylinder of light. Goes from your cervix all the way down through your yoni. And then etheric cylinder connects you right down into this golden womb core of our Mother Gaia, connecting to the seed of Shakti, the fire, her Kundalini, her luminous life force. This is where you receive the healing, the luminous life current, the mana, the prana, the quintessential essence of all of life. Inviting you now to breathe this beautiful golden light up through your root gateway, up into your yoni, up into your, and up into your womb. And we pray, loving Mother, Divine Mother, Gaia, Sophia, please help me to heal and repair my root gate, my yoni gate, my cervical gateway, so that I may have direct and clear access to your vital healing center. Help me to cleanse and to clarify my womb, Mother. Thank you. Thank you. This time visualizing the Mother healing your root gate, your cervical gate, with the flower of life. And you can bring your body into a slow circular movement as your breath, your intention gently scans the walls of your cervical gate, ceiling and repairing. And on the exhale, allowing any threads of past traumatic experience, any imprints, to release. I invite you now, in the sanctity of your own sacred space, to allow a sound, exhalation, a sound to release and allow any emotion that's been trapped in the etheric cervix or in the muscles of your cervix, sounding and releasing. Matua ya pua tu tu tu. Allowing the threads of all the ways that you have had your boundaries crossed, where you have been silenced, where you have silenced yourself, where have you felt suppressed. Let them go. Ruta fuerza, dia puta fuerza. And lifting off now. I invite you to just use your hands to feel like if there's anything in your energy field that's no longer serving you. You may not have a mental sense of that. Just let the energy move off right now. Yeah, you can give your body a shake. In the name of Isis, our Holy Mother, I ask that this healing be sealed. And you can just visualize the wings of Isis. You can have a look right now at this little symbol here. Visualizing the wings of Isis overlighting your womb. And as she does that, she's blessing your womb. The reactivation, the remembrance, the codes, the sacred sexuality. A reactivation and remembrance. The vibration of erotic innocence. Breathing. And I hold this Ankh in the name of Isis. May she overlight your womb space, sanctifying your womb right now as a sovereign space of light. Just saying to yourself now, I am sovereign. I am sovereign. I am sovereign. Calling your power, all your sexual power back from wherever it has leaked in the past, whether it's to other people or through a belief system that is anything other than holy, than divine. calling back your sexual energy once again, calling it back, breathing it back from the cultural trance that your sexual energy or your sexual power is anything other than holy and sacred. And breathe.
To call back your sexual energy. And just laying your hands over your sacred one space now. I invite you now to visualize this beautiful peony flower. This beautiful peony flower inside your sacred warm space. It's fluffy. With every inhalation, you'll be drawing up pink light up through your yoni, up into your cervical gateway, right in the center of your womb. This is beautiful pink rose, pink peony rose. And every inhalation, that peony is expanding, bringing with it the vibration of your pure, erotic innocence. It is time, my beloveds, for a reset. A reset. And just taking that same breath now into your heart. And breathing into your beautiful rose heart. On every inhalation, feel the rose within your heart expanding, the pink light softening you. Calling the rose of Isis, of Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary. Hathor, to overlight you right now. As you open to receive this exquisite divine feminine light, soft pink acceptance, embracing the energy of forgiveness. Forgiving the past is the only way we can free ourselves from the past. Inviting in to focus on one person who you've been carrying in your womb space. Could be a beloved, could either be a child. And just simply inviting them in front of you. Recognizing that the only person you're harming by not forgiving them is yourself. And just simply bringing that into focus. Forgiving them again. Forgiving them. And seeing a beautiful white rose between you and this person. And forgiving them. Istamahaya kuatatuatai. Yato rayo takuatai. Ishtaya uasewato. Iashaya tuate. I bless you and I release you. I'm just taking one breath to allow the energy of Christ-like, sacred masculine, come in through your crown, to go down, 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 into your womb space. As you remember this meeting with the feminine, the divine masculine inside your womb space. Activating the codes of what it is to live in the fullness of your sovereignty. Whoa. Yes. Thank you. We are complete. Opening your eyes. Hello. There we go. Look radiant.
Thank you, Leyolah. It is so powerful, and for all of you that can feel the energy moving and doing its work, even if you don't understand it with your mind. It's so supported by the divine alchemy that holds it all together. And it's amazing how you are completing this summit with this practice. You are the last session on the summit, and it feels like a full completion of the entire process to actually go through this. So thank you so much for holding this beautiful space and inviting us into this embodied healing.
You're welcome. And if women would like to go deeper, I have a free gift called the Rose Code Mysteries, and it's there's a womb cleansing practice and there's an inner flame activation practice there as an invitation to continue to deepen. Yeah, the womb clearing practice is something that I offered a couple of years ago now, but it's still very, very relevant. And things are upgrading, and I have a new sexual healing tantric activation course coming up in the early part of the new year. But yeah, that will keep, you'd receive the free practices, and if you want to go deeper with me, then you'd get news through the mailing list. So yeah.
Yes, if you resonate with this work, then Leyolah is the master. So please go ahead and grab that free gift and register to her mailing list so you can be updated with all her work that she birthing so amazing into the world and really affecting so many women in such positive ways. Thank you so much, Leyolah.
Thank you, darling one. Bless you, and thank you to all the women that have seen the summit through. I really pray for your awakening, and may you really find that connection between your awakened sexuality and your unique voice, so that you may fully rise into your authentic soulful expression this lifetime.
So yeah, we are coming to the end of our time together, and I want to thank you for being here and for doing your sacred work and sharing it so passionately.
It's beautiful to meditate with you.
Such a pleasure. And so for everybody else, blessings on your journey as we complete this this journey together. And from my heart to yours, keep rising and keep shining. The world needs you and calling for your greatness. So goodbye from my side until we meet again. Ciao now.